Tonight I will teach you how to ask the universe. Not in desperation, not in pleading, not as a beggar before a mighty force, but as a creator, speaking into the formless, commanding it to take shape. You have been taught to pray in words, to wish and to hope. But I will show you how to ask in a language the universe always understands, feeling. You see, there is no distance between you and what you desire. There is no delay, no separation, except that which you place between yourself and your manifestation by the assumption that it is yet to come. When you ask, you are not to cry out into the void, hoping someone hears you. You are to enter the state of the wish fulfilled, and from that place, the universe bends to your command. The secret is not in the words you utter, but in the vibration you offer. You are always asking, not with your mouth, but with your state of consciousness. Now let me tell you something radical. You do not ask the universe for something you want. You ask the universe by becoming the one who already has it. The true asking is not outward, it is inward. It is identification. To ask rightly is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled so completely that you forget it was ever a wish. You live from it, not toward it. When I say ask the universe, I do not mean you must look to the stars or speak to some distant deity. I mean you must speak to yourself, for you are the universe made flesh. Your imagination is God. Your consciousness is the center from which your world is projected. When you assume a thing to be true within your imagination and remain loyal to that assumption, the world must rearrange itself to reflect it. So how do you ask? You ask by becoming. You ask by entering a state. Suppose you desire wealth. Then you do not ask for wealth as a poor man. You become wealth in your mind. You sleep as one who is rich. You walk as one who is rich. You feel the security, the freedom, the confidence of one whose bank account is overflowing. You assume that identity, and the universe, being obedient, reflects it back to you. There is no mystery here. You have done this all your life, only unconsciously. Every fear you have entertained, every worry you have nursed, every doubt you have accepted, these have all been prayers, unconscious requests to the universe. And the universe, never failing, has delivered. It has always said yes to your dominant state. You have been told, ask and it is given. But you were not told how to ask. I am telling you now, to ask is to feel. To ask is to dwell in the end. You must cease looking at the world through the lens of what is and begin to live from what you desire, as though it already is. This is not madness. This is the method. The world responds to your inner speech. It echoes your inner conversations. Every moment, your assumptions shape reality. If you are ill, and you ask for health while dwelling in the state of illness, you perpetuate the illness. If you are lonely, and you ask for companionship while feeling unlovable, you sustain your solitude. The universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your state. Your feeling is the asking. And what is feeling? It is not emotion alone, but a deep inner conviction, a knowing that it is done. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it matters not what your senses report. They may show the opposite, but you will remain unmoved, for your faith is not in what you see. It is in what you know within. You must dare to live in the invisible. That is the great secret. All creation begins in the unseen. The visible is only the echo. To ask the universe, then, is to become pregnant with your desire, to carry it within you, to nourish it with belief, until it is born into the world. Do not concern yourself with the how. The how is not your domain. That belongs to the intelligence that sustains galaxies and grows flowers. Your only task is the assumption. When you assume that your desire is already yours, and you remain faithful to that assumption, all things necessary for its fulfillment will be drawn to you. You do not need to manipulate, to struggle, to strive. You need only to feel it real. This is not passive. This is divine law. A seed does not strive to become a tree. It simply knows what it is. It holds within itself the image of its fulfillment. So too must you hold within yourself the image of your desire, and clothe it with feeling. Let me give you an example. A man comes to me and says he desires to travel the world, but he has no money. I do not tell him to get a job or to wait. I tell him to go there in imagination. I tell him to walk the streets of Paris in his mind, to breathe the air of Rome, to feel the breeze of the Aegean on his face. I tell him to fall asleep in that feeling. And when he does, when he truly feels he is already there, the world shifts. Perhaps he meets someone who offers him a ticket. Perhaps a job opportunity appears. The means are many, but the cause was within. This is how you ask. Not in hope, but in certainty. Not in need, but in fulfillment. You must enter the state of your answered prayer. You must become what you seek. The universe will not deny you, for it is yourself pushed out. There is no other. When you ask rightly, you do not repeat affirmations like a parrot. You speak them as one who knows. I am wealthy, you say, not as a wish, but as a fact. I am loved, you declare, not to convince yourself, but to remind yourself. The tone is everything. The feeling behind the words is the prayer. And if the feeling seems difficult to reach, persist. For the imagination, like a muscle, grows with use. Perhaps at first it is only a flicker, but the more you dwell in the feeling, the more it solidifies. What once seemed like fantasy becomes natural, and what is natural becomes inevitable. You are not asking for a thing. You are declaring your identity. And from identity, all things flow. If you want to be successful, do not ask for success. Assume the feeling of one who is already successful. What does he feel when he rises in the morning? What does she think when she walks into a room? What is the posture, the inner dialogue, the confidence? Take it on. Wear it in your imagination until it wears you. You are always assuming something. Let it now be something noble. You are always asking something. Let it now be something magnificent. Ask as God would ask, not timidly, not tentatively, but boldly, creatively, faithfully. The world is not fixed. It is clay in your hands. Mold it with your assumptions. Shape it with your feeling. Speak to it from the end. You are not here to react. You are here to create. Do not wait for the world to change. Change your concept of yourself, and the world must follow. This is the law. It is immutable, impersonal and perfect. It responds not to effort, but to alignment. To ask is to align. To ask is to embody. You are not attracting a thing from afar. You are revealing what is already within you. The treasure is buried in the field of your own consciousness. So tonight go within. Enter the theater of your mind. See yourself as you wish to be. And more than see, feel it. Hear the congratulations. Smell the scent of success. Touch the fabric of your dream. Taste the joy of its realization. Dwell in that scene until it becomes your dwelling place. And then let go. Not into doubt, but into peace. Knowing it is done. The universe is a mirror. It reflects your deepest convictions. It cannot give you what you do not first give yourself. So ask not by pleading, but by assuming. Ask not by striving, but by resting in the state of the fulfilled desire. This is how the universe is moved. Not by action alone, but by the silent decree of the inner man. He who knows how to feel it real, knows how to ask. And he who asks in this way shall never be denied. Now you know. You have been given the key. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. Use it persistently. For the world you see tomorrow will be the result of what you ask tonight. So ask. But ask in the language the universe understands. Ask in faith. Ask in feeling. Ask in the assumption that you already have it. And then live as though you do. That is the only prayer that is ever answered. And the only question the universe is always listening for. As you dwell in this sacred assumption, know that your mind becomes the workshop of God. Each thought, clothed in belief, is a living seed. And the womb of the universe, ever fertile, does not question whether the seed is good or bad. It simply receives. That is why your persistent state is your true prayer. You can speak endlessly of what you desire. But if your innermost conviction is lack, then lack is what is born. When you ask rightly the moment you assume the state, you begin to see evidence. Not always immediately, and not always visibly, but internally. The texture of your consciousness begins to shift. You begin to see differently, to hear differently, to walk through the world as though you are already the one you imagined. And this new version of you attracts not by force, but by resonance. You meet people who reflect your new belief. Opportunities arise that would have passed you by in your old state. It is not coincidence. It is law. You must come to see every circumstance, not as something happening to you, but as something issuing forth from you. This may offend the ego, but it is liberating to the spirit. To ask the universe is to assume responsibility for your inner state. It is to cease blaming the world and to begin commanding it, quietly inwardly, with the unwavering confidence of one who knows that reality bends to consciousness. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when your senses shout louder than your vision, when the evidence seems absent. But I tell you, persist. The law does not fail. You are not to be moved by appearances. You are to remain faithful to the end you have declared. If you return to the old state, you return to the old world. Remain loyal to the unseen, and the unseen will become seen. Now I ask you to examine yourself, not in guilt or shame, but in awareness. What have you been asking for truly? What states have you been occupying? Have you lived in the end of your desire, or have you merely hoped from the beginning? To ask the universe is not to place a request and wait. It is to become the answer now. It is to live as if the wish were fulfilled, and to make that inner world so vivid that the outer must yield. Imagination is not idle fantasy. It is the creative act itself. The world you see is the condensation of imagination. Everything man has ever achieved began first as a thought clothed in feeling. So why not you? Why not now? If you can assume it, you can receive it. If you can feel it, you can see it. This is not metaphor. This is how creation works. The great error is to believe that circumstances dictate your reality. They do not. Circumstances are effects, not causes. The cause is within, and the way you change the cause is by changing the assumption. You ask, when will it happen? And I say to you, when you feel it is already done. That is the true timeline. Not days or weeks, but states and shifts. Do not make asking a ritual. Do not turn it into a practice of striving. The universe is not moved by your repetition, but by your realization. One moment of true assumption is more powerful than years of hoping. When you feel it real, the seed is planted. Remain in that feeling, and it must grow. You have asked before, but you have asked amiss. Hoping, begging, doubting. I am telling you now, ask as one who creates, not as one who wishes. Ask as God within, not as man without. Feel the truth of your desire now, and all things must align. This is not magic. It is law, not fiction, but function. When you walk tomorrow, let every step be taken as the one you have become. When you speak, let your words reflect your new identity. Let the inner talk be that of the fulfilled man or woman. This is how you reinforce the state. This is how you dwell in the end. If the old world shows up again, do not fight it. Simply return to the state. Withdraw your attention from the facts that no longer serve you, and place it back on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are not denying reality. You are creating it anew. You are not ignoring facts. You are changing them at their root. This is the greatest privilege of man, to ask the universe not as a servant, but as a son, to say I am, and to know that whatever follows those words becomes flesh. You are not here to suffer the world's judgments. You are here to speak your world into existence. You are here to declare the end, and let the means arise. As you begin to live this way, you will find a joy, a lightness, a freedom that no external condition could ever give you. You will realize that the treasure was never outside of you. It was always in the act of assuming, of feeling, of becoming. The riches of the world will chase the man who lives from the end. The opportunities, the relationships, the abundance, they are not rewards, but reflections. Ask then by inhabiting your dream. Walk through it. Feel its weight, its beauty, its reality. Speak from it, not toward it. And when the world contradicts you, smile, not in defiance, but in certainty. For you have seen the end, and it is good. Remain faithful. That is your only task. Not to make it happen, not to scheme or force the outcome, but to remain loyal to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The law does not operate by partial belief. A wavering assumption yields a wavering result. But one who remains unmoved in the face of contradiction, who clings inwardly to the truth of the unseen, will see it solidify before them. It must. The outer is slave to the inner. You must now begin to ask differently. When you rise in the morning, do not look to the world to show you who you are. Declare who you are before the world has a chance. Set the tone. begin in the end. If you are wealthy, you do not check your bank balance to determine how to feel. You feel wealthy, and the bank balance must follow. If you are loved, you do not wait for someone to text you first. You dwell in the knowing that you are irresistible, and life mirrors that confidence. Do you see? You are the root cause of your experience. This power is not given to the few. It is the inheritance of all, but few use it consciously. Most ask by default, through fear, through habit, through reaction, and so their lives repeat themselves, variations of the same theme. But you are now awake. You will no longer ask from the state of lack, but from the state of fullness. And this shift changes everything. When you understand that every moment is a seed, you begin to choose more carefully. You begin to ask not from worry, but from vision. You become selective in your thoughts, deliberate in your feeling, and disciplined in your attention. And this is not effort. It is clarity. You become the master of your world, because you have mastered the inner world first. Your imagination is sacred. Guard it. Fill it with the scenes you desire to experience. Let your mind be a temple of fulfilled dreams. Do not let idle images of failure or fear dwell there. Evict them with the light of assumption. Replace them with visions of success, love, joy. Every moment you do this, you are asking. Every moment you sustain it, you are receiving. Understand this deeply. The universe does not operate on fairness, but on law. And the law is this: according to your faith, be it unto you, not according to your hard work, or your virtue or your worthiness, but according to your faith, your assumption, your inner state. That is what creates. When the world seems slow to respond, check your inner dialogue. Are you still assuming the end, or have you begun to doubt again? The delay is never denial. It is always a signal to return inward, to refine the state, to deepen the conviction. The more real it becomes within, the more irresistible it becomes without. This is the art of asking. It is not a one-time request. It is a continuous occupancy. You must occupy the state like one who belongs there. If you wish to be free, feel free. If you wish to be admired, feel admired. You may not know how it will unfold, but that is not your concern. The how is the universe's delight. Your role is the what and the who. What do you want? Who are you now that you have it? The new man must rise within you. The old man, bound by appearances, must fade. You cannot serve both. One must go. Either you cling to what your senses report, or you live by the inner knowing that all things are already yours. You cannot straddle the fence. The law demands allegiance. So walk boldly. Walk as the man or woman you have chosen to be. Speak from that place. Think from that place. Rest in that place. And as you do, you will notice the world take on the shape of your thoughts. People will treat you differently. Opportunities will open. Things once difficult will unfold with ease. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. This is the mystery made simple. You do not wait for evidence to believe. You believe, and evidence appears. The novice waits. The master creates. The novice reacts. The master creates. The master assumes. And assumption is the only true act of creation. So you must be vigilant, not anxious but aware. When a fearful thought arises, ask yourself, what am I asking for in this moment? If the answer is not aligned with your true desire, change it. Replace it. Return to the end. This is not denial. It is dominion. You are not asking as a stranger to the universe. You are its very center. The world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Through your beliefs, through your assumptions, through your silent prayers. Every scene, every character, every turn of fate is responding to your inner command. You have spoken all of it into existence. Ask boldly. Therefore, ask with imagination. Ask with faith. Ask with the joy of knowing that what you feel is real now must manifest. Do not ask timidly. Do not test the law. Live it. Do not seek signs. They will follow your conviction. The sign comes after the assumption, not before. When it comes, when the phone rings, when the opportunity knocks, when the miracle arrives, do not be surprised. Say, of course, for you knew it was done when you assumed it. That is the level of certainty that moves mountains. That is the vibration that births worlds. And so I say to you now, with finality and power, ask no more with your lips. Ask with your life. Let your very breath declare, it is done. Let your every step be steeped in the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Refuse to beg from the outside. when the kingdom is within. Refuse to be shaken by appearances. When your inner world is law, you are not a servant pleading for scraps. You are the operant power, the very expression of divine imagination, made flesh. Do not walk out of this moment the same. You have heard the truth. You are the cause. You are the one the universe has been waiting for, not to plead, but to assume, not to wish, but to know. Let every thought from this moment forward be an act of creation. Let every feeling affirm the world you desire. And when you forget, when fear creeps in, do not despair. Simply remember who you are and return to the end. The universe is not listening for your words. It is responding to your state. Change the state, and the world must obey. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and all of heaven rushes to support you. That is how you ask. That is how you receive. That is how you create the life you were born to live. Now go forth not as one who hopes, but as one who knows.